The meeting group will come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the Kingfisher FFA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that this door is open to our friends at all times so that they're welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The reporter.
Your reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America. So I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed at the Emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The secretary will call the roll of members.
There are 7 members and numerous guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the Kingfisher FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented. The floor is now open for new business.
Mr. President,
Harrison.
I move that we invite members of the local farm bureau to our next meeting.
Second.
It is improperly moved and seconded that we invite members of the local farm bureau to our next meeting. This motion is debatable and amendable and requires a majority vote to pass. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President.
Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I propose this motion because the 3 areas of our POA or program of activities has recently changed to strengthening agriculture, growing leaders, and building communities. I feel this would be a great way for our chapter to strengthen agriculture within our community and also build our community support as well. For these reasons, vote yes.
Mr. President, I rise to speak in favor of this motion. Just this last year, Oklahoma and Kansas have battled recent wildfires this last spring. However, the Oklahoma Farm Bureau teams up with several other agencies to combat with this. It's been obvious that not only do they back FFA members, but they back American agriculture. We should invite them to our chapter meeting to give them gratitude and recognize them for our support. Please pass the motion.
Mr. President.
I'm thrilled about the opportunities that this motion presents. Did you know that less than 2% of people are directly involved in agriculture? And although Kingfisher, Oklahoma is located in the buckle of the wheat belt, there are still several people who have no idea what agriculture is about. What better way than to promote agriculture than inviting our Farm Bureau to come to our chapter meeting and learn more about what our FFA chapter is all about? I implore the Assembly to vote yes.
Mr. President.
I am in favor of this motion. Not only is this giving our local Farm Bureau the opportunity to see what our chapter is doing in our community, but it's also giving our conduct
aspect of chapter teams the opportunity to earn more practice through practicing in front of more people and getting ready for their state contest. I urge the Assembly to vote yes.
Mr. President,
I lend my support to this motion. Kingfisher FFA is lucky in the fact that we are able to give many speeches throughout the year. By inviting the Farm Bureau, this will not only benefit them, but it will also benefit us because they could tell us knowledge that we could put in our speeches that we present throughout the spring. For these reasons, vote yes.
Mr. President, I stand in disagreement with the maker of this motion. We already give our Farm Bureau plenty of credit for all the hard work they've done, and we are very close to them. I do not see why we need to have them come to a chapter meeting when we talk to them and communicate with them all the time. I urge the Assembly to vote no.
Mr. President, I move to refer this motion to a committee of 3, appointed by the chair. The chair appoints the chair, given full power to act and report back at the next regular meeting.
Second.
It is improperly moved and seconded to refer this motion to a committee of 3, appointed by the chair appoints the chair, given full power to act and report back at the next regular meeting. This motion is debatable and amendable and requires a majority vote to pass. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Harrison.
I rise to a point of order.
The member will state their point.
Tori made the motion to refer, therefore she has first right to debate.
Your point is well taken. Victoria, would you like to exercise your first right to debate?
Thank you, Mr. President. Referral is the best option for this motion, as we can refer this to 3 people who work closely with the Farm Bureau and our FFA chapter. And also our FFA chapter is currently getting ready for our Food for America program. Therefore, it would be better if we would talk about this at a later date. I implore the Assembly to vote yes.
Mr. President.
Harrison, referral is simply unnecessary at this time. We are inviting the Farm Bureau members to our chapter meeting. Therefore, wouldn't it make sense that our Assembly consider this motion failed referral?
Mr. President, I am in disagreement with the maker of this referral. We are our chapter officers, and that being said, we get things done quickly and efficiently, and we are going to be putting on the meeting. There is simply no reason to refer this motion to a committee.
Are you ready for the question? The question is on the motion to refer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it. The motion is lost. We will not refer this motion. The question is now on the main motion. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Chloe.
I am still in favor of this motion. Our chapter officers need community service hours to earn their state FFA degree, and they can earn these hours by working together to set up displays around our school and our community, showing that this Farm Bureau is going to be invited to the next meeting, and it'll show our community what we're doing in our chapter and our community. I urge the Assembly to vote up on the main motion.
Mr. President, there's no way I can lend my support to this motion. At the next meeting, we're going to be planning our Food for America program, and I feel that having the Farm Bureau here would simply be a distraction. We're going to be too busy planning it to have time to discuss with them about what they want to tell us. I urge the Assembly to fail the motion.
Mr. President, I believe this motion will have a favorable outcome. John C. Maxwell once said, "A leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." What better way to bring 2 groups together that both represent leadership within our community? By having Farm Bureau at our local meeting, they can maybe implement new ways to be leadership, show leadership throughout our community. Vote yes.
Mr. President, I move to postpone this motion to the next regular meeting and make it a special order for 4 p.m.
Second. It is improperly moved and seconded to postpone this motion to the next regular meeting and make it a special order for 4 p.m. This motion is debatable and amendable. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. I propose this motion because if we make this a special order and it's going to be at our next regular meeting, it gives our members 30 more days to bring up new ideas that we could share and talk about and implement within our meeting when we're going to invite the Farm Bureau. I ask the Assembly to vote up on the motion.
Mr. President,
Chloe.
Postponement is not needed at this time, seeing as our next meeting is November 25th and the holidays are right around the corner. These members are going to be wanting to spend time with their families, and they're going to be too busy to attend a chapter meeting. I urge the Assembly to vote down on the postponement.
Mr. President, I can't lend my support to this postponement. Sure, we made it a special order, so we'll be able to discuss it first. However, I feel like this will not give us enough time to discuss our Food for America program and serving out winter nights. I urge the Assembly to fail the postponement.
Are you ready for the question?
I rise to a parliamentary inquiry.
The member will state their inquiry.
What vote is required for postpone definitely?
According to Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, but the motion to postpone definitely normally requires a majority vote to pass. However, since we are making the motion a special order, it requires a 2/3 vote to pass. With that being said, are you ready for the question? The question is on the motion to postpone definitely. All those in favor, please stand. Be seated. All opposed, please stand. Be seated. There are less than 2/3 in the affirmative, and the motion to postpone definitely is lost. We will not postpone this motion to the next regular meeting and make it a special order for 4 p.m. The question is now on the main motion. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President, I stand in affirmation with this motion. At this meeting that we could have the Farm Bureau, I could present my national winning agri-science plant systems category. Through this agri-science fair, presenting this, I could follow the agriculture, food, and natural resource career pathway presented by the council, which works in cooperation with the National FFA organization. I ask the Assembly to vote up on the motion.
Mr. President,
Harrison.
as I evaluate the options of this motion, I am still in agreement. We need to contact Randy Poindexter, the president of our local Farm Bureau, to make sure that their assembly can come and support our local chapter meeting. Therefore, join me and pass the motion.
Mr. President,
Elizabeth.
I am still in agreement with the maker of this motion. We could have our agriculture communications class design a poster so we could put it in our local newspaper, so we could not only let the Farm Bureau know, but also let our community know that we are welcoming them to our chapter meeting. Also, we could provide refreshments and maybe even a lunch for these Farm Bureau members. For these reasons, vote yes.
Are you ready for the question? The question is on the main motion that we invite members of the local Farm Bureau to our next meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We will invite members of the local Farm Bureau to our next meeting. Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this meeting of the Kingfisher FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this meeting adjourned.
Congratulations, Kingfisher, Oklahoma.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to the first ever finals for conduct of meetings. Here we go. Same format, 7 questions. Can't help each other, and there are multiple answers. All righty? First question, Mr. President. Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, lists 3 steps used to bring a motion before the Assembly. First step for the members to make a motion. What are the other 2 steps?
Another member will second the motion, and the chair states the motion before the Assembly.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Vice President, in a deliberative assembly that meets annually, how long can a motion be postponed?
A motion can be postponed quarterly, which would be every 4 months, so a motion cannot be postponed after those 4 months, or to the next regular meeting past that.
Thank you.
Secretary, your answers to your 2 questions are taken from the official FFA manual. Which FFA officer represents the chapter in public relations and official functions?
The President.
Which FFA officer publishes a chapter newsletter or website?
That would be the reporter.
Thank you.
Madam Treasurer, here we go. Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, lists 3 classes of secondary motions. One class is the privilege motion. Name the other 2 classes.
The other 2 classes of motions would be subsidiary motions and incidental motions.
Thank you much.
For the reporter, assume an FFA chapter meeting is being conducted and 30 members are present. If 20 members cast a vote on a main motion, what is the minimum number of members who must vote in the affirmative to adopt the main motion?
11 members must vote in the affirmative to adopt the main motion.
And then how many times is an FFA member allowed to debate on one main motion on any one day?
An FFA member is allowed to debate twice on a main motion.
The Sentinel. Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, lists 8 standard descriptive characteristics or rules for motions. One example is that the motion to postpone indefinitely requires a second. What are the standard descriptive characteristics for the subsidiary motion to postpone indefinitely regarding the vote required to adopt it and if it can be debated?
It requires a majority vote and it is debatable.
Last but not least, Mr. Advisor, here we go. Name 2 amendable subsidiary motions over which the privilege motion recess takes precedence.
Repeat the question.
Name 2 amendable subsidiary motions over which the privilege motion recess takes precedence.
Those would be postponed to a certain time and commit or revert.
Thank you so much. A pleasure, Oklahoma. Congratulations.